Promise we'd be together, you, me, forever. Now there's nothing left to lose. And though I understand it's hard sometimes to make up your mind in these trying times, yeah, I just can't accept you leaving me when I'm overseas with the heart so heavy. Think that I deserve the truth for once, not a guilty tone, 'cause you're not alone, yeah. You said you wanna come home, but I know you don't. So this time I won't hear it on the phone. If you got something to say to me, then say it to my face. What it's all about, why you're bailing out. Think you owe me an apology. Just say it to my face. You're sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. Say it to my face. You're sorry.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Good morning and welcome to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. It is Thursday, February 17th, 2022. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a jam-packed show this morning. We'll be joined by Dr. Carl Mack as always, and we'll also be joined this morning by Sister Ole Olurin. She'll be joining us momentarily to discuss her action as it pertains to Rikers Island. She's been covering the treatment of Black men and really everyone at Rikers. We'll be talking about that momentarily. And then throughout the rest of the show, we have a jam-packed show. I want to begin this morning really with just an observation about the difficulties that we as Black people have in this country simply to be heard. I'm thinking of the video that I shared yesterday on, or rather 2 days ago on Twitter, the one that's gone viral. And we'll talk about that later on in the episode as well. It's a video of the young black man being arrested or cuffed during a fist fight that happened at the mall. And without any questions, the officers cuffed him and let the young white man stand on the side. No, not even questions of the people involved. It's at a point in this country where the absurdity of the clearness of racism and bigotry and the xenophobia and the homophobia and all the different isms that make up and maintain the political power structure that we're living in, it's clear that it is at a fever pitch, that they look clearly at the pictures of George Floyd. They look clearly at the images of the reality of racism, and they simply turn away and pretend like they don't see it. Dr. Mack, I know I'm not the only one who has that level of frustration with the inability to have truth be heard about everything. I mean, we simply can't have, and I think I've heard you say it before, it's like reason and stupid can't talk. They can't have a conversation because at the end of the day, we keep trying to, I think I want to rephrase that, in anyone's effort to explain racism to people who don't want to see it in the first place, it's an ultimate waste of our time. Good morning, Dr. Mack. How are you?
Ben, I am so good. Listen, man, I was up in the wee hours of the morning. Ben, I sent you a new insertion from my calendar, my all women's calendar. I hope you saw it.
I did.
So I was up in the wee hours of the morning working on it. But to your point, Ben, again, that's that. I not that I hate to keep going back to it, but it is my rock of understanding. It is what keeps me sane in an insane world. And I always keep going back to what Frederick Douglass said to me. Frederick said, "Hey, Carl, don't be confused, child. You setting yourself up for failure, my son. Power will never be conceded. It must always be taken in a struggle." And so that's what this is, Ben. This is a constant struggle. And part of where I don't want you, my brother, I don't want you to get bogged down on hoping and being so optimistic that reason and stupid can have a conversation, because the two of them cannot.
That's right.
And so
that's right.
We have been in this fight for a long time. We built for it. Go ahead. That's
right. No, what I was going to say is that's where I am. It's you can't be rational with irrational people. You cannot be reasonable with unreasonable people, especially people who make their money off of being unreasonable and irrational. So I'm with you, Dr. Mack.
Right. Yeah. So trust and believe. And so in my conversations with white folk, if you want to understand me, then that's why I say, I coined this phrase, courageous conversation. You must have the courage to listen to my truth as I say it to you. And I must have the courage, to speak it. So I'm not going to dance around the issue of race. So when they say some dumb stuff to me, like, well, Carl, why you all always play the race card? I have to remind America, you invented the race card.
That's right.
You invented that. See,
that's right.
You just like now, Ben, I did this write-up on a sister, Vivian Malone, I believe it was. No. It was Arthurine Lucy. Now, Arthurine Lucy was the first Black woman to be admitted to attend classes, but she did it with this other sister named Polly Myers. So when they graduated high school, Polly Myers is actually the one who came up with the story as told by Arthurine Lucy. So they concocted this plan that, look, let's just submit the applications. Well, on the applications, Ben, it didn't have anything about race on the application. So based on their merits, the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa admitted them. But when they showed up to enroll and they discovered they were Black, they now attempted to not allow them to come in. So with the intervention of the NAACP, this thing went to court and they were allowed to be admitted. But this legal situation took a year or so. And in the meantime, Polly had gotten pregnant. She wasn't married. And the University of Alabama used that as a reason not to allow her to come in. But the point that we're making, Ben, is it's never been about merit. It's never been about the content of my character. It's always been about the color of my skin. Right. And what you saw in that situation, in that video in the mall, it wasn't about what their eyes saw. It wasn't that at the point that they came in, the white kid was in the dominant position. Normally, when you come in and if that's all you see is whoever's in the dominant position, you assume them to be the aggressor.
That's right.
Even in this situation, their white eyes, their soul won't allow them to see. This is how America views me. But now, being just like I'm talking about this, let me just say this. Last night, I also added an addition to my calendar, Erin Jackson, the sister who won the speed skating championship.
That's right. Yes.
Being she never would have been there if it wasn't for this white girl. So there was this white girl on her team. And during the U.S. Olympic trials, Erin Jackson actually slipped in her race and she didn't make it. The white girl made it. And the white girl, knowing that Jackson was better, said, no, baby, we've been friends. I know you are better. Wow. I want you to take my spot.
Wow.
So just like so just like we can condemn all through our history and all through our struggles, there have been white folks who've just been good folks. And then you got some black folks like that Loretta Lynch.
Oh, yes, sir. Hold. I need you to hold Loretta Lynch for a second, because we're going to get to that in full detail, because I was taken aback. I sent you that article. Dr. Mack is talking about the fact that Loretta Lynch of the Obama administration is now going to be representing the NFL in the lawsuit with Brian Flores. We're going to flesh that out in great detail. But before we do that, hey, Google, what happened today in Black history?
On February 17, 1936, footballer Jim Brown was born on St. Simon Island, Georgia. Accepting a scholarship to Syracuse University, he earned All-American honors in both football and lacrosse. Turning down a lucrative boxing contract, he was drafted by the Cleveland Browns of the National Football League. Arguably the greatest running back in NFL history, Brown was inducted in both the Collegiate and Professional Football Halls of Fame. Adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Karl Mack.
Now, see, Ben, one of the things that I have problems with Google is, the people that wrote the snippets, they don't understand our culture, right? So if you notice at the beginning, they said Jim Brown, a footballer. So anyway, one of the little things.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Mack. I didn't mean to.
No, but to the point, the other thing, the thing that I most remember, I most honor about Jim Brown is not what he did on the football field.
Yeah.
It's the social consciousness that this brother had. And so I want us to all remember June 4th, 1967, right? Ali had just become a conscientious objector to the Vietnam War. And at that event, Jim Brown got together, and I want to get my glasses, but it was Jim Brown, Bill Russell, then Lou Alcindor, who is now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But now, again, in this Brian Flores situation, I want you players to say this, because I've heard some of you talking about the fact that you don't have a guaranteed contract and what could happen to you. Back in that day, remember, they had the reserve clause. So all the owners owned the right to you. That's number one. But in the case of Lou Alcindor was not even in the NBA. He was still in college at UCLA when he came to the defense of Muhammad Ali. Okay. And then all the football players, Bill Russell, do you think Bill Russell had a guaranteed contract? No. So you had Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, Lou Alcindor, Carl Stokes, Walter Beach, Bobby Mitchell, Sid Williams, Curtis McClinton, Willie Davis, Jim Shorter, and John Wooten. So the thing that I like about Jim Brown is this, not only what he did on the field, but on that day, he showed the world, but more importantly, he and those other brothers showed Ali, I am your brother's keeper.
That's right. That's right. I love it. And I love how history dovetails perfectly with the present. Dr. Mack, we're going to be joined momentarily by Sister Ole Olurin, and she's going to be discussing what's happening at Rikers. There's a campaign that's trying to bring attention and focus onto the atrocities that are happening there. Until she gets here, I can't help but notice how that message particularly resonates today in the case of Loretta Lynch and Brian Flores. I sent you the article as soon as I saw it. The fact that Loretta Lynch of the Obama administration is now going to be representing the NFL in this historic lawsuit with Brian Flores. Brother Mac, I know you dug into it. What are you thinking on this thing?
Ben, first of all, I don't care how much... Bro, I don't care how much digging I do. Man, sometimes, man, this is like, I can't get it. So, Ben, this morning, Dr. Patton, now, Ben, you and I done spoke to Dr. Patton. Dr. Patton's the love of I love when I tell you the love of my life, I love Dr. Patton. It's just a wonderful, wonderful sister. And Dr. Patton and I have been in some beautiful battles together. And she's called me and made recommendations of things we should talk about on the show. So she's an ardent listener. Dr. Patton called me, and when Dr. Patton talks to me, it's the way she talks to me that it's so Dr. Patton. So she called me, man, she said this. Carl, tell me why.
Yeah.
Jesus, tell me why. I said, Doc, since you evoked the name of Jesus, all I can say is Judas. Man, this doesn't make sense. Now, as you stated, she's with the Obama administration. She takes over from, who was our first Attorney General? Eric Holder. So she takes over from Eric Holder. And now that she's graduated, she's an accomplished woman now. Let's not mistake now. So the Dylan Roof situation, she brought federal charges to bring a life sentence against him. So she's done some good things. Now, when she retired, when her time as a public servant was done, she joined this law firm. And I'm trying to remember the name of this law firm, Ben. And I was hoping that you would have that law firm at your
fingertips. I can look for it while you. I'll find it for you. Go ahead.
She's a partner at the law firm Paul Weiss, Refkin, Wharton, and Garrison. And so this firm has done work with the NFL in the past. So they brought her in as a partner. So trust and believe she's getting paid now. So knowing that this firm has done work with the NFL, they represented the NFL in the past. So the NFL decides to go to them. But I don't think the NFL went to them just to go to them. They went to them with the exact intent to have this black face to represent these white owners. And when I say white owners, I'm talking about white conservative old men owners.
That's right.
Men like Jerry Jones, who said, my boy is on this team. Better stand for that national anthem or you won't stand with that star on your helmet. I'm talking about that kind of mindset. So now they need to put a black face in front of it, and they go get this black woman. Now I'm going to tell you something, Ben. There's two things in the world that I would never do. I would have never took them 30 pieces of silver and been Judas. I wouldn't have sold that little baby Jesus. I just wouldn't have done it. I'm not built like that. I wouldn't have sold out little baby Jesus.
8 pounds, 12 ounces.
And Ben, there ain't no amount of money that you could have given me to represent the NFL in this case. I could represent you in damn near any other case. I couldn't have represented you against Colin Kaepernick, and I damn sure couldn't have represented you against Brian Flores. And I'm convinced that she looked at him and said, well, how much? And the NFL looked at her and said, baby, here's a blank check. You fill it in. And she put that grin on her face, and she filled in a number. Because, see, if I were with that firm, and I was a partner in that firm, and they came to me, Carl, we got a wonderful opportunity. The NFL has just contacted us, and they would like for us to represent them in the Brian Flores case. I would have looked at one of my partners, and I would have asked him, have you lost your ever-loving mind?
That's right. That's right.
Then at that point, I would have told him, I am hereby recusing myself Because there ain't no way on God's green earth. Do you know that if I represented this firm in the NFL against Brian Flores, do you know that I could lose my invitation to the all-black family reunion? Do you realize that they could pull my black card? Get out of here with that nonsense. I'm just saying.
We're laughing, Brother Matt, but it's deadly serious. Right. And it's something when immediately when I saw this headline, the first thing I thought of was how Barack Obama, who is the one person you can't speak ill of in most black circles,
don't say it in front of my
actively that too. Right. Barack Obama actively inserted himself into the players' strike of 2020. The players, black players in the NBA, decided to strike out of protest on behalf of Jacob Blake, who had been shot by police officers. Barack Obama personally made a call to LeBron James, Chris Paul, and other players and convinced them to go back to work, neutralizing that power that those athletes have. Why is this happening from the likes of Barack Obama and Loretta Lynch?
Ben, I need a moment. You know, I like to think that I keep up with things. But I wasn't aware of what you just shared with me. And I need a moment because I'm in my feelings right now. I don't normally like to get in my feelings, but I am in my feelings because, you know, my mama, Ben, I'm going to tell you something. It's certain people you can't speak ill of. You can't say nothing bad about Kobe Bryant. You better not shape your lips to say nothing bad about Venus or Serena Williams. And that brother, Barack Obama, you can't say.
You must have not listened to my show before you came on the show.
No, obviously not, Ben. Obviously, I have not listened because I'm saying to you right now, I'm in my feelings right now.
I will. For people who don't know this particular story, you can get it at SB Nation anywhere. Just Google how Barack Obama helped convince NBA players to end their strike and return to play. In a call with Chris Paul and LeBron James, I'm reading from SBNation.com. Barack Obama urged NBA players to return to the court and resume the playoffs. Because, you know, you can't interrupt the playoffs. And the players, black players, had enough of black people being killed by the police. And they got the once and the first black president to come and tell these black NBA players to stand down. And that ended the most powerful protest that we could have had from these gentlemen, which was using their labor to shut down the NBA playoffs. So, yeah, they wrote out the big guns on that one.
So Ben, all I can tell you is I have gone over and over in my mind with Loretta Lynch. Ben, I don't get it. Man, 100 years, plus years, that this league has been outright racist in their selection of NFL head coaches. And now you trot out a black woman. How does she take that case, man? It's not like she's beholden to this law firm. She's the former United States Attorney General. She can go to any law firm she so desires. Partner, how about, baby, you hang your own shingle and do your own thing? Yeah. But, Ben, all money ain't good money.
And all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Bro, Ben, I'm trying to tell you, if I had been a partner in that firm and I were the one that they walked up to, Ben, I'm telling you, I would have told them like that. I said, man, do you understand what you are asking of me? Man, you putting my invitation to the Black Family Reunion at risk. They could pull my black card. Carl could put me, he could give me reservations in the Kunta Hotel. I can't take this case. Ben, I don't know. So Dr. Patton, I'm like Dr. Patton. Dr. Patton, after she asked me, she said, Ben, she said, Carl, and it's funny the way she talked to me. She said, Carl, tell me why. And then she paused and she goes, Jesus.
It's too early in the morning for this.
Man, Dr. Patton.
You know, we're laughing. We're laughing right now because if we don't laugh, I'm going to turn the corner. I'm going to turn the corner and talk about how there's always been a select group of Negroes who have been willed out to temper Black folks when we get out of line. I don't know if this is that particular paradigm, but it's starting to give me the sensation that it is, Dr. Mack.
Ben, I'm going to tell you what, Ben, I'm going to tell you this right now. I didn't want to put her in the Costa Hotel, but Ben, I think she gets a reservation there. I think I got to put her right there. And now when you told me about Barack Obama, now, Ben, I'm going to tell you something. As the owner and the proprietor of the Kunta Hotel, Ben, I could potentially have a falling out with my mama over there. So I'm just saying to you, I ain't putting Barack in.
We ain't gonna do it yet. We're gonna because there's still some holdouts. There's some holdouts. There's some people who look at. We'll give them time. Give them time to see it for themselves. But I think this Loretta Lynch thing is like it's a slap in the face, Dr. Mack.
Man, I can't look, Dr. Patton. I'm speaking specifically to you, Dr. Patton. I don't know the answer to it. You know, and then now I'm on the heels. I'm gonna tell you what I think Doc asked me this question. She said, Dr. Mack, I know you working on your all women's calendar. If she's in that calendar, in the name of Jesus, she's gotta come out. I said, Doc. So Ben, I promise you this, Ben. If she is in my calendar,
she coming out.
Yeah. Ben, I got to. It's
coming out harder than Diana Ross. Listen,
for those who don't know,
we're going to go to our first break here in a minute. I need to
let me be quick.
On my connection. For
those who don't know,
we're going to have a reset on the whole show. Let's go to a break. When we come back, we have more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. We're going to flesh all this out. We have a lot of stories. We have some special guests. More of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show right after this.
Boy, I love you, Ben Dixon. What a way to start my morning.
Damn it, that was you. You know what? I kind of assumed.
soul on fire. Ooh, and maybe we can't get any higher. Yeah.
My soul got the same on my necklace.
slide for a real one? Slide for me, slide for me. Can you slide for a real one? Can you slide for me, slide for me? Can you slide for a real one? Can you slide for a real one?
Can't tell me nothing. I'm flexing, stunting. Eating all my veggies in my pocket, half an onion. And that pack smell like a Funyun. Trump be beating, shit be humming. You can hit me around the corner before you ever see me coming. And they know just how we coming. Pants drumming. She gon' bust it open way before I finish thumbing. I can put you on some paper, proper play and teach you something. Got my stones on Himalaya, no I'm out your sucker ducking. Ain't no need for that discussion, bluffing with the game. About to build a couple million, came with nothing but my name. I'ma twist it, flip it, stick it like a bop it. Tell them stop it, all them haters out of pocket. Let me plug it like a socket, baby. Big on the said what they said part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top dog, I'm cool on the chick check. With the kid, know I got the gift paid. Big on the said what they said part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top dog, I'm cool on the chick check. With the kid, know I got the gift paid.
Tell me, can you slide for a real one?
Slide for me, slide for me.
Can you slide for a real one?
Can you slide for me, slide for me?
Can you slide for a real one? Can you slide for Baby say I make him nervous. Maybe cause I'm real on the surface. Maybe cause I'm 10 down where the turf is. Don't get lost in those facades on the guys. You know ain't nobody perfect. I just put the work in. I know what my worth is. I'm living lavish. I'm flossing, bossing a bag and I'm cash off the passion. Out here with my niggas, AV to the casket. We reckless, stay in your lane. I'm on gas till somebody cut the brakes. Cutting off these haters in the heads of the snakes. We're spinning the plan, but you catching on late. And she just sent the emoji, said she wetter than a lake. So I better not flake, take a break, say word. Hit me when you through with that, then we can shift again. My schedule been clear. These niggas see me, they mad like I'm one of their peers. I put that on Sita, so I'm sure it's abundantly clear. I'm hella big on the said what I said. Eyes low off the legal and the red wave. Put the leg room and the roof gone. Man, I came a long way from them deals off the Groupon. Right?
Big on the said what they said part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top dog, I'm cool on the chick check. Fuck with the kid, know I got the gift paid. Big on the said what they said part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top dog, I'm cool on the chick check. Fuck with the kid, know I got the gift paid.
Keep it real with you, I've been in the field in position. Yeah. I've been trail, you could tell by how I feel when you.
All right, folks, I'm back. We're back. It took a second. Thank you for your patience. I don't know. I had to reset a whole bunch of stuff. Dr. Back, what did I do? What you?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now what you did wrong. See, this ain't called the David or Dwayne Morning Show. This is the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. And see, you just keep running the clip of Chappelle. You just keep running it, Ben. You just won't let it go. That's number one. Number two, okay. I'm down with Chloe Kim for two-time Olympic gold medalist. But Ben, explain to me why you couldn't have Erin Jackson and her speed skating and her historic speed skating clip and all that. You want to tell me about Prince whoever getting a COVID test?
That's not Ben's fault, Brother Mac.
I'm blaming Ben.
Yeah, no, the headline.
No, David, I got this, David. I got this. You know, I appreciate it.
Come on, Ben.
I got this.
Come on.
Bro, Mac.
Yeah.
If you came to the production meeting, maybe we could have got it in there. Now, ladies, gentlemen, and non-gender conforming individuals, let's get to the news. But no, that's a good point. We'll get it in there. Send us that your calendar date, and we'll put it in there. You're right. That said, let's go. Georgia Port's not with us today. Listen, we're throwing audibles. Today is a complete show of audibles. Georgia Port had a call in. She everything that she's got going on over there in Minneapolis. She's on the front lines of that, as well as Ole Olurin. She was going to join us this morning to discuss the campaign to bring attention to the atrocities at Rikers Island. She had to go and take care of a client, and obviously that takes precedent. So our two sisters who are going to join us this morning, they're not with us. That said, I still want to cover the same stories that we were going to discuss with Georgia. One of them we discussed yesterday, Brother Mac. Dwayne, I don't want to go with the Ilhan clip just yet. Let's go to the second one. And it is about the inflation. We've talked about this, the inflation. It's about inflation. And the article particularly that we're discussing is an article that tries to help people to understand the Democratic Party's argument as it pertains to why prices are going up. Brother Mac, I'll let you jump in there because I have a lot to say about it, but I know you sent me that article.
Yeah. So one of the things, again, and remember now, this situation, the way the economy moves is when there are things that happen, it takes time before you will actually see the impact of it. So this actually happened, and I'm saying the fact that inflation is going up. So folks, if you go to the gas station and now you see the price of gas going up, I mean, it's not going to be long before, I imagine in some places of the country, you're seeing $4 for a gallon of gas. You go to the grocery store, you're seeing eggs, a loaf of bread. As these prices are ramping up right now, that's why they're saying that we're on inflation, 7.5%, the highest it's been in over 40 years since, I think, the Reagan administration. And it's looking to go up further. Now, part of the reason why this happened is that during COVID, when the economy completely shut down, the Federal Reserve, which is the Bank of the United States, said, look, with all these people being locked down, our economy is coming to a complete stop. We need to stimulate it. So the Federal Reserve pumped in trillions of dollars into the economy. So all the stimulus checks that people were getting, I mean, there are reports of some people who were getting more in stimulus checks than they were in what they were making. But basically what happened is the American economy was propped up in this absolutely perfect scenario that just does not exist in a capitalistic society where you got zero interest rates and you just throwing money out left and right. And as a result, inflation ran away. But with all of this infusion of money, now greed takes place with these corporations. So when you had companies delivering their annual reports, because right now we're in Q1, and that's the first quarter. We're at the end of, the fourth quarter. So now you're hearing from companies them reporting their fourth quarter reports. And when they give their earnings reports, they normally give you three things. They give you the amount of revenue they made, they give you the earnings per share, and then they give you guidance. So when they're coming in with these record profits, companies like Chipotle is saying to the stockholders and the analysts, we raised prices and our client base never even blinked at when we raised prices. So they went to, all of a sudden they start getting record profits. Not that they had to raise prices. They just chose to do it out of nothing more than greed. Netflix. Now, I can understand Netflix raising their prices because the more content they get, the more those costs goes up. But you had Tyson's Chicken for no other reason. They just simply made the prices, inflated their prices. And we still going in there buying the goods. So They were talking about, there's a report that came out that said there were just hundreds and hundreds of companies who raised their prices on goods, inflated them for nothing more than the fact that they could.
That's right.
They could just do it and they're getting away with it. So this happened. Remember now, all of this quantitative easing and all of this happened under the Trump administration. And so now Biden is catching a blunt from it.
That's right.
But now what you do about it. And so now that's why interest rates have been at zero. And so if anybody's paid attention to the market in January, you saw the market just dropping crazy. Why? Because the Federal Reserve is now realizing that in order to curtail inflation, they have to raise interest rates. And the market don't like that. So now they were talking about raising interest rates 4 times a year at a quarter basis point. Now the talk is maybe they have to raise interest rates 7 times a year and they have to start at a half a basis point. But we're going to see. So you got that going. Now you got Russia at the border of Ukraine. That's jacking up gas prices. So right now, I'm saying to the American, to our family out there, buckle in, because I believe that prices are going to go higher. And the first place that you'll see them is when you go to put gas in your car. This is what has happened because of the quantitative easing as a result of the pandemic and as a result of just corporate greed. So Chipotle, I got to talk to my son about every Friday us going to Chipotle, because I have been noticing how your prices have just gone up dramatically. And you thinking I don't care about it? You done lost your mind. I do care about it.
You got to start asking if you got Chipotle money. Like we ain't had McDonald's money back in the day. If you ain't got Chipotle money, because here's the thing, like every single place has raised their prices. Yes. The prices are going up. The prices have been going up. Now, I've been tracking this for years now. The number one excuse that has been used to stop workers from getting $15 an hour is inflation. The price of those burgers at McDonald's have gone up every year consistently, while the price of labor has not gone up. In fact, it's been stagnant for years. And the minimum wage is still, federal level minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour. It's the same amount it was 20, 30 years ago. That said, there's a messaging war that's happening right now. I shared an image on Facebook, and I got a warning saying that it was fact-checked, half true, or missing context. And let me explain so I can give you the proper context. The image I shared was a list of all of the corporation's profits and associating the increase in those profits with the increase in inflation. Facebook, we're streaming on them now. Instagram, we stream on there occasionally. They flagged an image that essentially said corporate greed causes inflation. And they flagged it as missing context, or really just saying it was untrue. Here's the thing. This thing is such, the economy is so much in the bag that when we speak a simple truth like you just stated, of course, corporate greed goes into inflation. Of course it does. Because that's literally what inflation is. Inflation is when the price of something last year is higher this year. That's inflation. You cannot take out the formula or the variable of corporate greed when, Dr. Mack, you're saying in their own quarterly reports, they are bragging about the ability to raise their prices, and consumers don't bat an eye.
Yeah, and now the other thing that they're going to say, and if you speak to somebody from an economic standpoint, they're going to say, well, of course, prices are going to go up because, remember now, we had to increase the hourly wages.
That's right.
So that's going. And now, under normal circumstances, if you see wages go up, that's a real cost. Okay. All right. Look, family, I don't want to try to be real complex with you, but let's just take Bezos, for instance. Amazon CEO. How much is Bezos worth? Ben, can you hold on a second? Hey, Google, how much is Jeff Bezos worth?
The net worth of Jeff Bezos is $182,400,000,000.
$182.4 billion. Let's just assume that we took $1 billion and spread that amongst all the workers at Amazon. There's your increase. So while you're talking about raising wages for folks who still ain't making nowhere near. As a matter of fact, Ben, just imagine if you took the earnings of all the CEOs in the country and compare that to what it costs them to raise the annual wages. It doesn't make sense. This is corporate greed, plain and simple. So the increase in labor rates, to your point, Ben, that had nothing to do with inflation. And the independent group that did the study said that they combed through hundreds and hundreds of corporate earning reports. And they're simply saying that when you go through these reports, these companies are just simply saying, we just raised our prices and our consumers didn't blink an eye at it. I'm blinking.
Dr. Mack,
I'm blinking. Ben, I'm blinking.
They are price elasticity is what they're manipulating right now. There literally is a course in economics, micro 101 price. Mm-hmm. They want to see corporations are literally testing how far they can raise the prices before you stop going through the drive-through to eat their junk food. And unfortunately, I went through one this morning, paid $6, Dr. Mack. I paid $6 for an Egg McMuffin and a little bit of orange juice. They ran. I shouldn't have been eating it anyway. But the point is they really are testing and it's up to the consumers. But the thing is, Dr. Mack, when our behavior patterns have been swipe our card, eat
That's
this, buy that, not really paying attention to the increase every single month. Well, that's how corporations were able to take you from a $2.99 value meal. Y'all remember those commercials? Yeah, I know we got some people my age. Value meal used to be $2.99. Now you got to get a mortgage to go get this McDonald's sandwich. Anyway, Dr. Mack.
But Ben, to your point, understand that. The fact that, Ben, when was the last time you used cash money to pay for anything? See, when we got that card, it's like you don't know. It's so easy to do it. Now, I called out Chipotle. Trust and believe. See, that's why at the Mack household, we don't drink Starbucks. We drink Folgers Crystal. Because when you go to Starbucks, trust and believe, Starbucks has been raising the price on that cup of coffee. Ben, I don't go to Starbucks. So how much is a cup of coffee at Starbucks? That's what, $6 for a cup of coffee?
$11 for 2 cups of coffee. If you don't get something with a venti, you know what I mean? Don't get something with a little foam on top, a little latte. If you get a hard in it, it's gonna be $30. Anyway.
So family, let me help you to understand. A cup of coffee probably costs 50 cents.
That's right.
And Starbucks, who we love and so much, that you love so much, they too are talking about the prices of them raising their prices. So Starbucks, Chipotle, Tyson's Chicken, all over the place. It is nothing more than corporate greed. And being to your point, call it elasticity. It is certainly in effect right now. And inflation is running out of control because of corporate greed. And it is not. And
if we take away the variable of greed, then what will happen? And this is really important, right? What's really important is that if we allow Facebook, Instagram, and all the politicians who are making policy to not even allow us to discuss corporate greed as a very real variable in inflation, that will give them permission to take austerity measures to penalize. And when I mean austerity, I mean they're going to cut. They're going to cut everything. They're going to come in and try to make cuts for the excuse. It doesn't make sense. Now, mathematically, economically, it doesn't connect. But that has never stopped the Republican Party and the rich people in this country from making policies that hurt poor people underneath the guise of inflation. And they will not take any measures to address the corporate greed, which is at the core root of exactly what's happening right now, Dr. Mack.
And so, Ben, that's why I want to hear from our 2 favorite folks. I need to hear from Elizabeth Warren. I need to hear from Bernie Sanders about how this is just a runaway muck. I mean, you want to talk about corporate greed at its best, but trust and believe, Chipotle, I got it. Now, see, for me, it's just about my son. I'm trying to tell you right now, it's going to be a war in this house because every Friday, my son is like, Dad, we don't even think about what we're going to eat on Friday. My son, that's what he does. So I got to talk to him about it. Hopefully he's at a level of understanding. Otherwise, Ain't no
much Chipotle on Friday, man. Y'all gonna have to pull up in the backyard and barbecue something. But speaking of, you brought up Starbucks, and we have a clip that Sister Georgia Ford was able to get in the Starbucks unionizing efforts there in the Twin Cities. She had a chance to speak with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who was there supporting the Starbucks workers. Now, in the midst of all this corporate greed, in the midst of all these record profits, you still have corporations like Starbucks and Amazon who are spending those profits trying to make sure that their employees don't unionize. And this is Congresswoman Ilhan Omar at a Starbucks supporting the unionizing efforts there. Let's take a listen.
We're really excited to be here at Starbucks in Minneapolis to come and support and stand in solidarity with workers here who are trying to create their own union. We believe in the collective power that unions create in regards to bargaining for a more dignified workplace, and it's really exciting to see it from the ground up.
Corporations are not caring about their employees anymore. It's gone away. And you have all these people who are considered, especially the people who are considered essential during the pandemic. Like, I'm so essential that I have to go out while there's a global pandemic and go to work, but I'm not essential enough that I deserve to afford rent and groceries. Like, that doesn't add up to me. I'm Casey Copeland. I have been a partner at Starbucks for 3 years. This is my 3rd location here in Minneapolis, and I'm just really excited about what we've gotten started here. Already people are coming in and ordering coffees and changing their name to Union Strong, and we have customers yelling about solidarity as they walk out. It's been really overwhelming, like the amount of support that we've had. So one of the biggest things that's really important to us is kind of the health and safety of our partners and of our customers. Haven't felt like the decisions that have been made have really made sense for the people that are kind of on the ground, like really dealing with the repercussions of that. Additionally, we would like Starbucks to start kind of putting more money into more social and material support towards the marginalized communities that they kind of cater to. They do a lot to kind of brand themselves as very progressive, and we don't feel like the support for us as partners to upkeep that is necessarily there.
You know, they've really took a stand. They don't want the union to come, and we're ready for what is to come from the company, and you know, ensuring that we have community support as well. We're really excited to have Congresswoman Omar coming down today to show support with the workers.
You could hear them talk about the energy they're experiencing, the kind of solidarity that people are showing them in the community. There is siblinghood, and it's just really lovely and wonderful to witness. I know that this movement is going to grow, that it's not just going to stay with one store in Minneapolis or one store in St. Paul. There is so much energy in a lot of the other Starbucks in the Twin Cities area. My daughter used to work at a Starbucks, and she's already hearing from friends that this is exciting. So I can't wait for this movement to grow. I can't wait to continue to stand with them, and I can't wait for our union-friendly community to welcome them and uplift them.
Because we have such a safe environment here, we felt like it was important for us to kind of take that step so that hopefully other stores around us can see, like, this is doable, and you don't have to do it first. Like, we did it. Now join us.
I love that. You don't have to do it first. We did it. Now join us. Now, that's the Starbucks there in the Twin Cities. And Dr. Mack, if you pull up to the Starbucks in Bankhead, Buckhead, College Park, it's all black staff. Out in the country where my mama has a Starbucks, well, she doesn't own it, but there's one out there by her. It's all black. I want people to understand the unionizing efforts are black issues as well.
Ben, I'm just playing around with some just simple math. And, you know, we're talking about the amount of money that these CEOs make. Just take, look. So there's 2,080 hours in a work week. Hey, Google, how many employees are there at Amazon?
On the website howigotjob.com, they say, let's know about how many employees does Amazon have.
Google, stop. They said they got about 170,000 workers. So if you multiply that times 170,000, that's 353 million, right? 353 million. Jeff Bezos has 184 billion. Jeff Bezos can take $1 billion and give these people an incredible raise just off of $1 billion. 184 billion, Ben. I need folks to understand what that means. That means that this man can spend $184 million a year for 1,000 years. And you're talking about workers. So the CEOs of these companies, and that's what they're talking to in their quarterly report. Remember who they're talking to in the quarterly report. They're talking to their stakeholders, and they're talking to the analysts. And the analysts, if they say the right things, the analysts are going to make those stock prices go up, and they're going to make even more money because they can say, we raised the prices on Ben and Carl, and Ben and Carl didn't say a thing. They just continue to pay it.
That's right. That's right. Unless we speak up with our money, they're going to keep doing it. Dr. Mack, I think you have to get out of here today, right? Or are you sticking around for the next time?
Ben, I've been working hard through the night. And so I got to get up out of here. And you know, Ben, I want to leave on a good note that you and I aren't fighting about this thing anymore. We stand in solidarity. Oh, yeah. But I'm going to say this to you, Ben. the next time we see the B-roll, and if I don't see Aaron Jackson and some more, some other black faces up in there, and Ben, you better take Dave Chappelle off. And if that means I need to come to the next production meeting, then you can damn well bet I'm going to be there, Ben Dixon.
I see you at 8 o'clock tonight, Dr. Mac. All right, y'all. We'll be back with
I love you, black man.
It's in your hands.
Good morning, everybody. It's your boy James Brother Williams.
I need all the wins.
In the building.
Ain't no L's, gotta get it, no call and quits.
Yeah, I was late today.
Gotta keep on moving no matter
Good
how
morning,
hard it
everybody.
gets. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with
Shout out
hard
everybody
it is.
in the
My head is
chat
as hard
room
as a
right
brick,
now.
but I'm harder than all it is.
Good morning.
Better move, you might
Hey,
get
good
knocked
morning,
out.
XO. Miss Ruru, man,
Better
see
move, you might
Alicia,
get knocked
Brittany,
out.
Laura Slider, Tiger,
Better
Miss
move, you
Newell,
might
Roller
get knocked
Dragon, what's going
out.
on? Hollywood.
Better move, you might get knocked
G-Man, Fitz
out.
Dragon, Daddy, what's going on, y'all? Good morning, everybody.
That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't hit, I don't slay. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. Down wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running no fury. The opposites feet on the maze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it.
Black Panther, what is
What happens when you
going
taking care of your business? But some family,
Indian
you do
Brown,
the
good
math. I'm out of my
morning.
pocket. Houston, we got a
Amber
problem.
Layla,
I ain't
good
perfect. Let them
morning.
watch me elevating. Got them
Good
nuts.
morning,
Cause I'm
Mama
the pilot
Daddy.
in
I
the
know y'all
cockpit.
there
No
somewhere.
stopping in
Good
the
morning,
house.
Small family.
Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead.
Good morning,
Watch out,
y'all.
set it up. Bet you I shut it down. Watch out, get a win. I don't think they really wanna come against the winner. Got a finger run up in a grenade.
Tell me right, what's
I ain't
going
never been
on?
there where you think you can pay. I'm a line, but the winner
Good
by the cage. I
morning.
need
I
all
did,
the
Mark.
wins.
Thank you so much.
I'm
gonna order when I get back,
Gotta keep
I'll
on
order when I
moving
get
no
back
matter
to
how hard it gets.
Moon,
Better move
good
out the way,
morning.
cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You
Jason
better
Fox,
move, you
what's
might
going
get
on,
knocked
Jason?
out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
Irish
Knocked
Jones, good
out.
morning. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Tiger, what's going on? Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We got more coming up next in the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Like it or not, coming up next.
I'ma need safety. Tell her I can't snake me. Ray gun off safety. My girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world. She want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going. I keep it factual. I'm on sabbatical. I'm out in Central America. I need a break from hysteria. Park like the one with the carousel. I get it hit in your area. Block to the vision, it couldn't be clear. You couldn't pay me to care enough. I dare you to hate me supreme with the sound through the stereo. So turn it up loud when you hearing us. We live in this good in your area. My mama proud, she tearing up and it's going down. Got your girl aroused by these massive stacks like 100 pounds. Running big laps till the sun is down like 100 miles. Tinted frames on me leaning down. I'm winning now. Been a while, you ain't like me then, but how you like me now? Real one, if I hold you down, I'ma keep it there till we in the ground. Jet black when I paint the town, only blue sheets when they pay me now. Treat it setback like a step back. Wave, I got the game in a vice grip. Way up when the fire's clear. All the homies on the flight list. Verbally gifted, take the plot and I twist it. Got it big lit. Sex with the incense, got my mind red, won't stop on my limbs. I'ma need safety. Tell her I can't snake me.
There are 4 quarters in the Super Bowl, right? 4 quarters in the Super Bowl.
Tell her it's your world.
That's why they balled out 50 Cent at halftime.
So the stress don't face me. I'm going. I want a grill for the mouthpiece.
I did
so
not
bright
know.
that it light on my face. Your shawty just call me a fave. Cause she like my character traits. I never stop for a break. I put a lock on the game. I put a stock in my name, but I give a f about the fame. I took a bite of life and it tastes so exquisite. It feel like you do when you look in my pen.
Here's a good one.
Hopeless romantic, my girl.
Tablets were replaced by scrolls.
Won't stop to the youngest he dreams.
Scrolls were replaced by
I heard that you
books.
claim that you know me, but you ain't the homie.
Now we scroll through books
I need a loyalty back at
on
the royalty. I give a fuck if you notice me. Ain't nobody holding me.
You
Big
see how the history works?
So they know
You see how history repeats itself?
You
See where we
Nitro
end
with a
up
new
at?
kid and go out
Y'all
ice
make
so
sure
tell
y'all
them don't
stay
reach.
tuned.
Ice cold with it, no fleece. I'ma need safety. Tell her I can't snake me. Ray gun off safety. My girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world. She want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going. Hey, look, I'm going, yeah, I'm going, crazy, wave, yeah, crazy, yeah, look, I'm going, crazy, wave, hey, look, I'm going, yeah, I'm going.
Yes, Roller Dragon, it revolves. The Big Piece, what's going on, Big Piece?
Crazy, yeah, look, I'm going, crazy, wave.
let's bake ourselves a treat. What you've been mixing, serve it up the way you please. I love the way you shake, you stir, you heat, you squeeze. So thick, push up and butter me. So move that, push that, shake that, smack that, mix that, up that, marinate that. We don't need a recipe. With that cream, baby, pour that sweet on me.
That two-step
baby, shade up. We can cook up, we can syrup when we hook up, just you and me. With that cream, with that, preheat this oven up like 5,000 degrees. It's almost ready, we've been craving this all week. Baby, you want it, I got it. I'm hooked on you like phonics. Gotta be honest, you're on it. And this ain't no time to be modest.
Brother Ben, good morning, Lily. No, not yet. But this one is for you, Ben, back there in the background. Track Natasha, good morning. Hey, you know, my favorite childhood memory is building sandcastles with my grandfather. You know, that was until my mother took my urn from me.
When we hook up, just you and me. With that cream, with that shit.
Brother Chuck Diesel.
And that's sweet on me. We can cook up, we can stir up when we hook up, just you and me. With that cream, baby. Pour that sweet on me, baby.
All right, y'all welcome back to the screen. My brother from another mother, as we wait for the Azor to stop Azoring somewhere. Benjamin Dixon. Hey, Brother Ben. DJ, what happens when you hit Dwayne Johnson on the button? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear, man. I'm okay. Without headphones today. I'm kind of jerry-rigged a little bit. My signal's a little fuzzy, but I'm all right, man. How you doing this morning?
Man, you look like you on dial-up.
I feel like I'm in GeoCities. Remember that platform?
Oh, God. Hey, what happens when you hit Dwayne Johnson's butt?
You probably get killed. What? I don't know. What's else?
No, you hit rock bottom.
Oh, man.
Yeah, how you doing this morning, brother?
I'm doing good. I'll be doing better with my. I think my Wi-Fi signal has the Rona. And when that clears up, I'll be doing a whole lot better. I'm really tempted, James, to troll somebody on Facebook. Today is the 1-year anniversary of the passing of Rush Limbaugh, and they're mourning him in conservative circles. And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want Jesus to strike me down with lightning. Let's take a look at this fight video.
You said to turn my head. It was just.
That's all I'm saying, because, you know, I still I don't want to tip the universe.
Yeah,
I don't want,
be nice, Ben.
I'm going to be nice. I would just say that there are certain people, when their presence is no longer felt on the planet, the world becomes a better place. How about that? Let's take a look at this fight video. We covered it yesterday, James. This is a Bridgewater Mall in New Jersey. This video has gone viral on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. On Twitter, it has about 1.7 million views. And it is of two teens. One of them is older. The white guy in the video is older. He's in high school. And the black guy in the video is in middle school. The background that we didn't have yesterday is that the young black man was standing up for one of his friends that was being bullied by the white guy in the video. Now, I'm giving you all this context because, you know, when you see the end and you see the police officers arrest or cuff, rather, the black kid and no one else, it's the clearest testament to what racism is like in this country every single day. There's a lot of the expletives in it, but I still want to play it. Let's watch the clip again, and I still have even more information to give you on it.
Go outside right now. Go outside, no, right out there. Go right. You're talking to an age group. Get up. Go outside right now. Go outside right now. You're talking to an age group. You know I can have my face. Get your hand on my face. Come outside.
Oh shit!
Yo.
No, bro. Chill. Brian, get out. Brian, leave. Holy shit.
Look how aggressive they are. Toward the kids.
Nah, nigga, what the
Holy shit. Oh no. Holy fuck. Yo, it's because he's black. Racially motivated.
Now, all the expletives a little bit triggering for me because my instinct is telling me the people dropping the N-word ain't got not a lick of melanin in them. But we're going to leave that for another day. The interesting thing about this was the 15-year-old white kid. His name is Joey. He talked to reporters himself, and this is what he said. He said, I knew it was wrong, and I knew there was going to be problems when they did that. He said, they didn't come for me. This was Tuesday night. He talked to the local station. He said, this is the white kid. He said, I didn't understand why they didn't arrest me. He said, I even offered them to arrest me. Joey's friend, the white kid in the video, said, filmed the video and said this: the black kid was the only one who was getting tackled. And of course, everybody says that they were horrified, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if what this white kid is saying is true, he told the police officers, cuff me too. He was in the wrong, because I think anybody with a lick of common sense can look at this instantly and know that this was the clearest example of what racism is like in this country.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you know, I'll give the Joey his props for doing the right thing and talking to them. But you know, none of this should have happened. But at least he did his due diligence and said, and went to the reporters at least and said, hey, they didn't even arrest me. I offered them to arrest me. Hey, arrest me. Yeah. And y'all said no. So that just goes to show, man, I'm just like, come on. At least he did his due diligence. And, you know, I just hope that this gets into the right hands and they do what they need to do. I know Benjamin Crump is going to be all over this in a minute.
You know he is. As it should be, because this man, this thing is, you know, a lot of people, it's not shocking to me, but it is. I don't know if we've had something so clear, right? I mean, if you are a human being and you could look at this video and say that this is not racist, then I have to really question whether or not you're a human being, right? You know, you're more likely a Neanderthal than anything else. But this is how I know how damning this video is. You have not heard a single Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, any of these people on the right try to attack this video, because it is crystal clear. The police in this country look at this and listen, like, the boy was younger, right? The black kid was smaller. He was on the ground. He was the one he was getting beat up. But the shorthand that these police officers used in that split-second decision showed very clearly that they see a smaller, younger black child as the threat, as opposed to this bigger kid who was literally on top of him, wailing on him. That's what it is to be a black person in this country.
So, and I don't know how much props I'm really giving Joey in this too, because like it's one thing to after the fact be like, yeah, they didn't arrest me either. Like I don't know why they weren't arresting me, but why they was down with their knee on my man's neck. What was he doing? He was sitting there chilling, looking like, and he stood up looking at him like he ain't say a word. There was other people in the background like, oh, this is because he's black. But Joey was standing there like, yep, you get him.
He even pointed to him.
Yeah. So it's like
he's sitting there like,
pause it right there where he had his arm on his hip. Like, I guess you're wondering how I got here.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how much props I'm really giving. It's one of them situations where it's just like, you know, it's easy to say after the fact, like, yeah, I should have gone down too. But, you know, here I am walking free.
But in that moment, he was pretty happy.
Agreed. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Dwayne. Especially as one of those things. It's just like, are you doing it to be authentic because you saw this happening? Are you doing it like Tiger said in the chat for street cred?
That's it, yo.
Or are you just for your 15 minutes of fame?
Exactly.
Yep.
Just capitalize, so he can say after the fact, like, yeah, I tried to stand up for the black guy, but look what
Wait a minute,
Dwayne. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Sorry.
Do it again.
That was so goddamn spot on.
That's all he did, yo. He started the fight with the black dude and then was talking to the reporters after, like, yeah, they had him down on the ground, and I was just sitting here wondering why I wasn't getting arrested as well.
Dwayne would be known as Joey from now on.
Hey, Joey. Hey, Joey, what happened, Joey?
So, Joey, Tucker Carlson, Joey, so what happened?
I was just sitting at the mall. All of a sudden, this big black man jumped me. Man.
Wait, no,
listen,
we need the.
We're going to be joined. Let me move forward. We're going to be joined momentarily by George Johnson, author of the book "All Boys Aren't Blue," discussing how their book has been banned in either 10 or 14. There's two accounts, 10 states, but according to Democracy Now!, they're saying their book has been banned in 14 states. This is all connected to the whole critical race theory. It's connected to all the legislation that's happening in Florida. James, I don't know if you heard about the legislation that Chevron Jones was speaking out about in Florida, where they're trying to make it so that you can't even mention the word gay in classrooms, right?
Yes.
So it's funny to me, like, wherever you find homophobia and transphobia and all these other phobias, you're going to find racism. You're going to find all kinds of bigotry. So we'll be talking about this pushback against critical race theory and specifically the banning of George Johnson's book, All Boys Aren't Blue. We'll be speaking with them at 9:30. And then obviously we'll be joined by Rebecca Azor whenever she decides to Azor her way on in.
Anytime now.
Tomorrow. Oh, speaking of tomorrow.
Oh, what is? Oh, yeah.
Love you, Ben. I forgot to tell you that I'm traveling tomorrow morning, so you guys will not see me tomorrow. I love y'all. I mean it. Ben, see, look, the boss is mad at me now. See what had happened was.
Man, I ain't worried about that, man. Listen. I might not even be here tomorrow. Look, just make sure we got some good music, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. The other thing I wanted to talk about while I had you, particularly, the baby. The fight that the baby had, and I want to talk about this in context of there's a whole lot going on in the rap world, right? In hip hop world. Yeah. You have Eric Adams of New York, the new mayor of New York, who is taking a stand against drill music, and he had a video, an interview, or at least a presser with a lot of rappers there from New York. And that dovetails over into the conversation about the fight, the video that came out of the baby getting into a fight at a bowling alley. There is a lawsuit from the gentleman who's in the video with the rapper. He is going to sue the baby. I just think it's there seems to be like, when did this turn happen, James? I left hip hop in 2009, 10, whenever the Carter 4 or the Carter 3 came out. That was like the last album I really was like into hip hop. But it seems like since I've been away, a lot of rappers are just killing each other now. It's just or did I miss it? And it was like that the entire time? Because I don't remember it being rappers dying that much as they're dying now.
I wouldn't say dying. A lot of them, there haven't been a lot of deaths. I think the most recent deaths actually was Pop Smoke. Any other one, it was just like, it was more so health issues. What's his name? Juice WRLD, Triple X Extension, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't think there have been a lot of hip hop like killings on like versus, killings on killings. Nipsey, Nipsey, I think, was one of those. I'm not going to say an exception.
Young Dolph
was the other one, yes. I don't think it was one of those things where it was a rapper versus a rapper. It was more so they still stuck to what they knew. They were still in their element.
Okay, Nipsey, I see what you're saying.
Nipsey was one of those. He was helping out doing so much for his community and doing so much, but you always have that one crab in the barrel that always try to pull you back in. And unfortunately, I think that's what happened with Nipsey, and I hated that. But man. The baby situation, this is, from what I understand, Dana Lee's brother.
Yeah. Brother.
So this is beef that's been ongoing in this whole family, because that whole thing has just been a whole big mess.
This ties back to this ties back to the video. I remember now. I'm with you on that. And I see that distinction that you're making, that some of this isn't rapper versus rapper so much as street life still being in their lives for various reasons. And them having too much money to know what to do with and just being stupid. Because the baby's actions with Dana Lee, that whole video and doing all that, I mean, both of them was just wrong. I mean, like, that's too much. Y'all doing too much.
Yeah.
Well, I got a clip of,
like you said.
Go ahead, Dwayne. Go ahead.
It ties into that because, so from what I understand of the situation, the brother, the one getting drugged all around by his hair, was after all of that, after the whole baby and Danny Lay situation, he came out and was the baby is, when I see you, it's on sight. And so don't, if you tell somebody it's on sight when I see you, better be prepared for what comes with that. So he saw them in the bowling alley, and from what I have read and seen, he walked up on the baby and his entourage to talk. When you tell somebody it's on site, you ain't walking up to them.
You ain't going up to talk.
So he kind of got what was coming to him. It was funny to me watching the video because it was all kind of slipping and sliding on the boat.
It was the way.
It was like one of them videos you watch that's got the sound effects to it and like whoop,
whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah. His little after video where he was riding in the car with his boys, showing off his little scars and whatnot. And
man, go, Dwayne. Man. See, they don't see your face laughing. See, they see me and James laughing, and then they're gonna be like, "Hey, where them two Negroes at? They were laughing at us." No, put your. Nah, I ain't worried about them. But you're so stupid, man. I want to read this. I do want to connect it, if it is connectable to what Eric Adams is doing. We have this clip. I'm not a fan of the mayor of New York for many reasons that I've already outlined. But this is an interesting update. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is raising the alarm over violent content in drill rap. A controversial, and this is according to ABC News, a controversial and popular subgenre of hip hop, and wants social media companies to restrict artists from sharing their music on those platforms. Mayor Adams admitted that he had no idea what drill rapping was until his son, Jordan, who works at Jay-Z's Rock Nation, sent him some videos. And this is what he said about it. He said, "We're going to pull together the social media companies and sit down with them and state that you have a civic and corporate responsibility," Adams told reporters last week. We pulled Trump off of Twitter because what he was spewing, yet we're allowing music displaying of guns, violence. We're allowing that to stay on these sites. Let's take a listen to this clip. It's a very short clip, but one of the rappers that met with the mayor had something to say about it.
Okay. It's 11:30 on a Tuesday night. There's been a lot of talk about drill rap, drill music, New York City, connecting violence with the culture. And I just wanted to create a conversation with the mayor. We got Fabio here. We got Young B Love here. We got Slow and Bucks here. We got Bleezy here to talk about, what's really happening, so the mayor could get a real perspective and a real understanding of what drill rap is, and so that we could have some real dialogue and really start to really make things happen.
We're going to roll out something together on the whole conversation, and we're looking forward to it. And I appreciate you, man.
Definitely.
All right, so
I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Dwayne maybe can help me here. And now I'm starting to feel old as hell.
I know what you're about to ask.
What is drill rap?
I Googled it just in case somebody was going to ask that question.
It's hard to I don't. We might need Ben's Google answer for this, but from what I understand, it's like a subgenre that was popularized in Chicago. And
so that's like Pop Smoke, basically, like Pop Smoke. And when it's Fabio Foreign and all of them. Okay,
it's kind of like the feeling to me. So to me, it doesn't always have to be. It's not like drill is just it's guns and shooting people, but it's just what them guys from Chicago that kind of popularized it was talking about. The drill sound can be can be anything. It doesn't have to just be, shooting and killing. And Eric Adams is not the first person to come out and say something about, I can't remember the guy's name, but popular, I think, DJ in New York was saying, yo, I'm not playing no more of this drill stuff while y'all talking about shooting and killing people because we losing too many of our black people. So, Eric Adams isn't the first to say something about it. He's just, the one right now that's kind of bringing the argument forward.
It's so somebody in the chat rooms, various chat rooms. The only this is how old I am too, James. Let's just be real. The only reference of drill that I actually know is Jay-Z on Drake's latest album. Like I said, I punched out in 2008 at the Carter 3, and I punched back in with Champagne, whatever the name of that album was, Certified Lover Boy, right? And so the last time I've heard drill actually mentioned in music was Jay-Z talking about, I got $1 billion or $2 billion, I could drill you, I know where you live, right? I'm wondering how distinct drill music is from everything else, because honestly, like, we've been murder, kill for a very long time in hip hop.
Yeah, very long time. So, okay, and Joshua, thank you. Lil Durk and Chief Keef, I don't listen to Chief Keef, but Lil Durk, I listen to, consider drill rap. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Chief Keef was like one of the first that kind of made it real popular. Yeah, but now that sound, there's a lot of artists, using that drill kind of sound. And it's hard to explain what the sound really is. It's just a distinctive kind of way that they ride the beat and the different beats that come with it. But Chief Keef kind of made it popular. Lil Durk is taking it to another level now. You got Fabio, like you said, in New York. But there's a lot of rappers using that drill sound. Kanye's used it on a couple songs recently. On his songs, so,
okay.
It's more of a sound and not the content of the music, but it's associated.
Of the music, right?
The shooting and stuff is associated with it because of the artist that made it popular, and that's kind of what they've been talking about.
That makes a lot of sense.
Azor is at the door. Good morning, sis. Are we, how y'all, you know what, actually, let me just bring you in now because we are going to have to take a break and come back. Okay, I didn't realize that. Thank you, David, for that update. Let's do this. DJ Exclusive, take us to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Rebecca Azor join us, and then shortly thereafter, we'll be joined by George
Rebecca's
M.
rolling
Johnson.
her eyes at me.
More likely than not, the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show will be back right after this.
I wish I had some drill, some non-copyrighted drill music that I can play for y'all.
You're already done.
Let y'all know. Rebecca talking noise already, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We had a special guest joining us next. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Or on Like It or Not here on the
all see, what they all see is you need help. But still you try so hard to cover up your games. You try so hard, hoping that one day something gon' change. You waste all of your time covering up your tracks. Spend all your days running away. You gotta watch your back, and that's the facts. You spend so much of your life scheming and trying to get over. Got you wondering why you come around. All you get is cold shoulder. Yeah, you try so hard. Cover up your game.
Agreed, man. You just down with you, Bart. It just got home. That's all it is.
Hoping that
artists
one
out there,
day
man. Don't sleep on the music.
Something gon' change. You try so hard. Yeah. You try so hard. You try so hard. Yeah. So hard.
Juma, please forgive me if I said your name wrong. You are so right. The Juma Boutique says we have violent movies, violent TV shows, violent video games, but less blame rap. It's the 90s all over again. That's some real stuff right there. Yes, it is. All this violent stuff, y'all go after music every time. Never understand.
Still you try so hard.
What you know, Rebecca? No, you're not.
Fingers, don't nobody see all this time. Ooh, it ain't nothing changed.
One Source Productions, good morning to you.
Somewhere on the sea, it got a little longer.
Man, good morning. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We got more coming up next.
Bring out, so to speak. Now come a little closer. I feel a little light in the light track.
Carter, right. Somebody telling me I can't do something makes me want to do it. Absolutely.
Still a little light in the light track.
It's
still a bit of good. So good. And I know just what to say. And I know just what to do. And I'm so sick of pain. But it's all too quick with you. Losing this game, I can't afford to be losing this game. And I know you're the same as me. Losing my mind, can't find the words. No, I can't seem to find. But I'm really trying again. Reason right, let's take our time and choose. Whether we green or yellow, whether we deep or shallow. Please we know, cause we're about to lose. Whether we buy or hello, whether we stay or jello. Sometimes money mean you want a little bit of gasoline. I burned out, so to speak. Come a little closer. Here's some disclosure. Do you mind to quit your pretending? Truth or false, shit never ending. Hear me now and stop condescending. You see, I'm begging you, hear me, baby. If you're sick for love, don't try to hide it. Find it deep inside and try to hide it. There's a way I
I'm about to say, I'm gonna hold
your games and now that
do that later on.
losing this game, I can't afford to be losing this game.
Okay.
And I know you're the same as me. Losing my mind, can't find the words.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the screen. My brother from another mother and my sister from another Mr. Benjamin and Rebecca.
Actually, Rebecca's not with us yet. She will be joining us. If we could get her by the after party. Or actually, hang on a second. Make sure I got my screen up so I can see. Okay. Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. It is Thursday, February 17th, 2022. I'm excited to be joined this morning by George M. Johnson. I'm excited because there's a conversation that has to be had about the effects of everything that we see happening around us as it pertains to critical race theory, the fight against banning certain books, and even in the state of Florida, the fight against the LGBTQI community that's being waged by people like the governor there, Ron DeSantis. George Johnson is the award-winning Black non-binary writer, author, and activist based in the New York City area. They have written on race, gender, sex, and culture for Essence, The Advocate, BuzzFeed News, Teen Vogue, and more than 40 other national publications. They are the author of All Boys Aren't Blue, which has been banned now in nearly 20 states. I want to repeat that. They have banned this book, All Boys Aren't Blue, in 20 states. George, thank you so much for joining us. How are you this morning?
Thank you for having me. I'm awake. I'm in LA, so it's just turned 6:30. But I'm excited to be here.
We appreciate you getting up that early. I know the West Coast is a monster when we try to do these live shows on the East Coast, so we really do appreciate it. Tell us, if you don't mind, about the book All Boys Aren't Blue and what you're fighting against now, which is a full-on court press to ban your book everywhere.
Yeah, my book, All Boys Aren't Blue, is pretty simple. It's just my life story from birth until the age of 21, growing up as a Black kid in a small city called Plainfield, New Jersey, who always knew that I was different, even if I didn't have the language to understand what different was. And so the book really just showcases my journey through childhood, through being a young adult and going to college. But it tells the true story of what that existence is like at the intersection of Blackness and queerness. And my story also intersects and weaves in a lot of moments from my family, because my family was very queer affirming, which is something that we don't often hear about or talk about within the Black family dynamic. And so it's really a love letter to my grandmother in many ways, but it's a story about family and just one person's journey, myself, on, through the age of discovery.
What about almost 20 states? That is a huge statement to the threat that those people, that group, that cabal see your work. I want to take this in two steps. What about your work makes them so afraid? And then two, how could we best describe that group that is now almost at 20 states banning your book?
Yeah. My book, at the root of my book, it tells the truth. My book simply tells the truth. The sections that they are pinpointing are two in particular. One where I discuss a sexual abuse that I experienced when I was around the age of 12. And a second section where I talk about losing my virginity, and I was a little bit older. I was around the age of 21. And so in both of those sections, though, I do depict what is going on. I talk about what the experience was like. I talk about it, very boldly and vividly what actually happened in those two instances. But they're trying to say that what I'm selling is pornography, when realistically, what I'm selling in the one chapter is teaching youth about consent. It's teaching the youth about grooming. It's teaching the youth about how to recognize sexual trauma and repressed trauma. And in the other section, it's literally a critique on how poor our sex education system is in the United States, so much so that people who are queer don't even know that they're at risk, at much higher risk for HIV, and how we have to really update the sexual education systems in this country because our kids really don't know about consent. And the only places that we can learn about sex from oftentimes becomes pornography, which is why so many have a warped view of what sex actually is versus the main depiction of what most of us can see.
There's a lot there. And I can say there's a lot there because anyone who has dealt with trauma, either personally or cared for someone who's dealt with trauma, understands that you don't heal until you address it. You can't move past trauma until you actually can verbalize it and discuss it. And so it's almost as if their argument makes no sense if they're saying you discussing trauma is going to cause trauma. It doesn't make sense. I can see it from a homophobic kind of generalized fear of bigoted fear that they're so used to in this country. I don't get the logical argument from their perspective, which leads me to the second question. Who are these people specifically? Because I sometimes generalize and say like white supremacists or conservatives, but that group might be a lot bigger than that.
Yeah. And, it's interesting. It's not a large group. It's mainly a group called the Moms for Liberty and No Left Turn in Education, I believe, is the second group. Not huge groups. It's not 1 million people after us. Even when you look at the numbers, it's always like 2 parents complained about this book to get it pulled. 3 parents complained about this book to get it pulled. 1 parent complained about this book to get it pulled. So it's not like a huge group. They're just a group that is very well mobilized. And so they're in all 50 states. They have about 135 chapters. in terms of the Moms for Liberty. And so they just have basically made a coordinated attack against a list. They just have a list of books and they all just go to their school boards and complain about the list. None of them have read the book. And realistically, they are living under a conservative ideology that is built in like purity of like white children and innocence of white children. And because of that, they're rooted in that ideology. They feel that anything that either downplays the history of this country, talks about how the forefathers were slave owners and rapists, because my book does that too, or talks about experiences that aren't of their pure children who are going to be jaded by my Black queer experience, then those books need to be pulled.
A small, concentrated group that has a list. And, you know, I mean, I've been following this story for a minute. You can't help but follow how many people are being attacked in this space. But it's not happenstance that other books on that list directly address what you already listed: white supremacy, systemic racism, critical race theory in the generalized sense, not in the theoretical sense per se. But tell me, why is it so easy to go just from one ism to the next? All of the phobias from one to the next. It's like there's a very small step to go from being a racist bigoted to being a misogynist bigoted or a homophobic bigot. Tell us, if we don't catch it on one, how is it so easy to miss it on all the others?
Yeah, I think people don't realize how systems of oppression are all interconnected. And so oftentimes when you hear people talk about a system of oppression, they talk about it from a very siloed standpoint. And so people will talk about healthcare, but don't talk about how K through 12 feeds into socioeconomic status, feeds into healthcare, feeds into police brutality, right? And so it's almost, which is why when people first started talking about the school to prison pipeline, it kind of blew people's minds because they didn't realize that these two systems, i.e. the criminal justice system and the K through 12 education system, were so interconnected into what plays out in specifically Black and brown children's lives, as it was pushing the kids into that system from as early as the age of 6 or 7. And so part of the issue is people don't look at racism or gendered violence or, as I said, healthcare as interconnected, interwoven systems, when realistically it is, like you said, it's easy to jump from one to the other because they're actually not like three separate circles. They're more like that Venn diagram where you do one circle here, one circle here, one circle here, and then you notice like, oh, wow, they all interconnect at a certain point. And I think that's really the truth of the matter. And it is just like you said, it's easy to jump from one to one to one because they are all birthed out of each other.
That's right. That's right. This is why if you don't mind, just let me go on a little tangent here. That's one of the reasons I throw people off with this show a little bit, because there's a generalized expectation because of my background that I would hold some of the same bigoted views and that I actually had once held. I mean, I wrote a book about, my past, growing from my religious context, and I can't even blame it all on religion. A lot of my growth had to come from just community and culture, movies that I watched, teaching me to have a bigoted view or use bigoted language as it pertains specifically to the LGBTQIA community. And so I have found in this space of trying to create something that everybody Black can be comfortable in, I found some of the most pushback that I get is right here at this specific intersection. When we try to open the doors of the church to everybody, it gets a little tricky. This is a facetious question, but have you ever run into that?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time. And like you said, like even with the church, it's like, come as you are. And then in very small print, it's like, except if you are this, and this. Yeah. I mean, I will say, even with the book ban, I haven't run into as much pushback from pockets of Black communities as I anticipated, but a lot of the silence also still speaks volumes. And so it's it's kind of like where, you know, these conservatives are very vocal and very loud. I'm not seeing like the historic Black organizations push back or say too much about the topic. And I think silence has a voice. And so I think right now what we are witnessing is how those organizations, specifically, their silence is speaking volumes. Because just with my background of being a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, just with my background of being a 2-time HBCU alumnus, there's no reason that places like the NAACP haven't picked this up, and places like the Black churches aren't picking up the book bans. And right, I grew up with a Black grandmother who went to Mount Zion AME in Playville, New Jersey, and I went there, you know, my whole life. And so I think it's the silence that speaks for a lot of those places and communities right now.
Yeah, it's a process, and we'll talk more, because I would love to get you back to talk even more about your second book that is rooted in our Blackness and is rooted in this journey. We Are Not Broken. If you don't mind telling us a little bit about that second book, and then tell us how our supporters can get both of them, because LeVar Burton said the best way to push back against banning books is to buy those books and read them.
Yeah. My second book, We Are Not Broken, is really a love letter to my grandmother, Nanny, who passed away December of 2019. It is the story of myself and my younger brother, as well as my 2 cousins. And for me, it's like this really coming of age story where you get to see how Black boys deserve to have childhoods and excitement and adventures and imaginations. And we had that, and we all had that with my grandmother. And so each of the grandchildren got to write a letter to her within the book. And it really is just a story about, you know, Black boy joy at its core, and the Black grandmother experience, as she was just unwilling to allow us to not have a Black boy experience because of how hardened society tries to make us.
I'm definitely picking up that book, because I'm dealing with that right now, ensuring that my kids, particularly my boys, have the same access to joy, everything that you listed: joy, imagination, just fun. Like, can our kids let their hair down sometime? I mean, not me, but my kids, can they let their heads down and not have to be so hardened because of the nature of our society? George M. Johnson, thank you so much for joining us. But before I go, I don't think I heard you say where they can pick up the books. Tell them where they can pick up the books.
Yeah, I mean, you can pick up the books. The books are everywhere, you know, your Amazon, Barnes and Noble, but we always say try and support your indie shops, try to support the independent booksellers. So if you have an independent bookstore, make sure you're trying to support them. There are some great Black-owned ones like Mahogany Books in DC. Yes. Loyalty Books in Maryland and DC. So yeah, there are definitely some great Black-owned bookstores too out there. So try and support them too.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We have to get you back as soon as we can.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
DJ Exclusive, take us to a quick break. I think we got more show to go. Rebecca Zora is here. Like it or not, it's about to go down.
What you gonna do when the rain is coming down? Nothing more to do when there's no one else around. Bring it back to the middle, push, take it back to the rhythm. Keep it up for good when the sky's falling down. All you gotta do is to bring it to the ground. Hit it up to your inner move, stop, start, down. Nobody can get what you're going through. Nobody can get what you've done.
This morning, we greatly appreciate you. Make sure that you go support them and pick up their books. Don't want to miss those. Make sure I go grab me a couple of copies as well too. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Rebecca is in the house. Like it or not. Continuing up next on the Benjamin Morning Show.
Matter of the thing, I'm never falling down. Shovel up the dirt, I'm taking shit from them. Bring it back to the middle, push, take it back to the rhythm. Ringing every bell for the falling of the sun. Shifting, getting
is coming through. You know she got a good story for you. Oh, Benjamin, that's my dog. This is his show. He's a politics pro. I am your DJ exclusive. Hey y'all know who I am. I stay dropping them jams. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around. What's the good? What's going on? Like it or not, it's starting now. Like it or not, it's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it.
It is
Rebecca
Thursday.
Looking like Jennifer Hudson over here with this blouse. I like it.
Thank you. It's actually a dress.
It's a dress. Mm-hmm. It's cute. Why you know you got an attitude this morning? Good morning, Rebecca.
Big attitude, but you know it's Thursday, so it's Friday Junior, and you know we're not gonna start the show off like that. It's not gonna be as. It's not.
Well, I was having a good time.
I know. You were having a great time. It's good. I want
with my lo-fi resolution. I am so disappointed with how my camera is looking today. It's not a good representation of the quality that you get here, but here it is.
Like you on MySpace.
I'm on. Remember the Facebook? That's how long ago I was on here.
You look like you're from that old Frontier video game.
My camera should look as good as the rest of the people on the screen, but I'm pretty close to fan. I meant to ask George what HBCU it was that they went to. Because right now I feel like I have some FAMU internet. I'm dealing with her today.
It's the look to me. She look.
Considering how close I am to Tallahassee.
I feel like we're not going to get conversation until Rebecca just lets it all out. So let it all out.
Go ahead, Rebecca. Go ahead. Rip the Band-Aid off. You might as well.
No, yes. You know what? I'm not. It's I only got 5 more minutes left in the show.
No, we're staying public.
You guys are staying public because you knew.
Because
you're staying public because you knew Rebecca was only on here for 5 minutes. Now, by the time I got on the show, we would have went not public, and the world wouldn't have seen me. So it is what it is. But we're here. What stories do we have? I didn't really get a chance to. I saw that you guys did discuss 2 stories earlier when I was in the rating room. But I think now, what stories do we have? Where are we at the after party? Let's play some joints.
I mean, all things considered, this is the after party hour. We had a matter of fact, the crazy thing about it is we kind of we overbooked today. Today was a jam-packed show. And we had a couple of guests who couldn't even make it, which worked out great because otherwise we'd be here 12. We would have been at noon. So, David, what do we have in the after party tank?
I think there's 2 clips, Dwayne, 2 AP clips. I don't remember what they are, though. So just roll them.
Play something. What the hell is this?
Oh, yeah. Babies born streaming.
No, this is scary, bro. This is like
Hold on.
you playing, but my 4-year-old is about like that right now.
It's the truth though. These kids come out now with a phone in their hand, already streaming.
It's like they're being born with like more knowledge. Like they've been here before, and they not only been here, but they've been here with technology before. Yeah. All right. Listen, hey folks,
Rebecca,
I appreciate you.
Girl, pause, man, pause. Rebecca, pause. Everybody, pause. Rebecca.
I hear you.
Rebecca.
Listen, it is Thursday. And I was actually about to add to that story about the kids actually coming out and utilizing their phones. Bubba. But I think that this is why kids don't really have great use of their motor skills for real, because the first thing that they do is have the phone in their hand. While I was in Kentucky, I had my god kids. He used to, when I'm not there, he'll see me on the phone and he'll be trying to go through the phone and try to like talk to me or whatever the case may be. And then when I got there, he was confused as why is she not in the phone and she's literally here. He just kept staring at me and crying and he was so confused. He's like, why is she not in the phone? These kids are very, very phone savvy at like 6 months. Like, they'll try to hold the phone as if they're texting. And he was swiping through. He understood how to do that at such a young age. I remember even before then, my baby cousins, they had like, remember the little bar phone where you could play Snake on there? Yeah. And this is when Snake came out in color. It was no longer in just the green graphic, black. Yeah, it came out in color. And he took the phone and he started, like, he would go crazy. Didn't know how to talk yet, but knew how to go into the phone, travel over to whatever he needed to travel to. And this before it was touchscreen. So you had to go click, 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 click. He knew how to do all of it, press OK, click it, and then do what he needed to do. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And like now, you get one of them now, and it's just like, without even you trying to open up the phone, child, the baby already know how to swipe. They done put the phone up to your face to unlock it, and they swiping by themselves. My little nieces, oh my gosh. I'm like, bro, how you know how to use that already?
Mm-hmm. And they know how to do YouTube. They know how to do YouTube as well. It's like, they don't know how to. My best friend was asking her son, she was like, do you know how to read? Like, how do you know this stuff? Because it's like, he knows how to get to YouTube. He knows, like, the title of things, so just looking at it, he just knows. Like these little these streaming kids, they say something else. It's shocking.
Okay, and look, my mom has a portal. Portal is like one of the little Facebook things. The portal and the Amazon Echo, mama has. So when they had my niece was there when she was staying with them. My niece would get up in the morning, sit at the table with her breakfast, and would say, Alexa, play Cocomelon, and it'll come right up. And she'll know how to turn it on and do everything herself.
Alexa,
by the voice.
Stop.
I was about to say, as soon as you said that, I knew that was about to happen.
Look, and then my one in the room started playing.
Tell y'all, this
I'm like, that was scary.
The creepiest thing is when you think about something, I don't know, maybe I said it out loud and then it showed up as an ad on Instagram. They listening to everything we doing right now.
Oh man, guaranteed if we open up a web browser right now, Instagram or Facebook, there is going to be an ad. Cocomelon for Amazon or Alexa going to show up on the dang on thing.
Let's go to Instagram. I'm going to scroll. I guarantee y'all keep talking. I guarantee you my first ad going to be like that.
We checking. That's the bad part about it.
Well, yeah, because I know it happened every time. I was sitting, I don't know where I was, and I asked the waitress for. I was trying to do keto, so I was asking for one of them Coronas that got like low carbs. I ain't never seen an ad for Corona on none of my devices. All of a sudden, every day after that, I got ads for the exact Corona I was asking for. So they listening to everything.
And I don't. Go ahead, Rebecca.
I know you could go ahead, Dwayne.
I was going to say, they even take it a step further. And like, Ben, have you noticed that you may get ads for stuff that your wife is interested in as well? Because they know that the phones are together so much. It's like, oh, they must be, and you'll get her ads and she'll get your ads.
But why is it that they never use the algorithm to, like, I don't know, connect me with a resource that I need that day? Like, they know everything about me. They know everything. They know what my wife likes. They know what I like. They know all the details. They know what I'm nervous about. They know my anxieties because I be Googling WebMD. What does this little mark mean on my inner thigh? You know what I mean? So they know that about all of us. They don't ever send us any good recommendations. They send us ads for, like, beer. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Well, that's because
I need the algorithm to do better than beer.
And I don't like how Instagram is now doing it now. Like, if you don't follow, like, you could look at something for maybe over 5 seconds, and you probably weren't even really looking at it, but it's literally what is probably going to be a page that you weren't following, because Instagram does this thing now where if you don't follow the person, or it was on your Explore page and you look at it, it's like, okay,
they're interested.
You now are considered interested. Now on each, like, you'll be scrolling through and it's like people you're not even following. They now are all on your timeline. If I wanted to follow this person, I would literally put them on. I have a whole string of people that I am not following who are on my timeline. And I'm like, the point of Instagram is to follow people
who you want to follow,
who you want to be on your timeline, who you want to see their content.
Right.
I'm looking at, you're forcing me to watch all this content. And then it's like, I only watched that little commercial. My best friend sent me, she was like, girl, look at these dogs or these cats scratching babies. Like, you know, it looked like they're actually loving on them. Let me say that. Like, they're loving on them. But when you're looking at it and you're not really a pet parent, it looks like the kids is jumping on newborn, the little kittens is jumping on newborns, scratching them up. Dogs is ready to chew up the baby face. That's what it looks like. But now she sends them to me more often. You know why? Because she looked at it that one time.
Yeah.
Her whole page is doing that. I was looking at laser removal for my mustache. And ever since, that is all I see. It's laser removal all the way through. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. I don't want my page to be all laser removal. So yeah,
and listen, just because I looked at one twerk video, Instagram, does not mean I need you to populate my timeline with nothing, because I got kids. Like, I happen to look at one. I'm joking now. Anyway, it is true though. No matter what you look at, if you look at it for more than 30 seconds, they gonna fill your timeline.
And I hate now how, like, the search engines, they integrate into social media feeds as well too. So let's say if I'm on Amazon looking up something, not Amazon, but let's say on Google or something on my web browser, once I go back to Instagram or Facebook, there's going to be an ad there for it.
Yep. I forgot what that was called specifically. It was targeting. I forgot pixel targeting. It really is. They've had this technology forever though. That's the other thing, right? I knew about 90% of all the algorithmic stuff that people are discussing now. That they had that whole video, that documentary on Netflix about the algorithm. Yeah, they've been doing this. I mean, since Google was invented. Like, they've been tracking every detail. They know when you go from Facebook to any website, and then they mark you with the pixel that you went to that website, so that when you come back to Facebook, they're like, oh, you're interested in that website. Let me show you an ad specifically about that website.
It's really dumb. And I feel like all of that, the only reason I had, created Instagram was to follow people that I like, who are like-minded. Just because I watched something that somebody sent me doesn't mean that I'm interested in this. That's the worst way that the algorithm could work. And also, if you have been someone who is prone to posting about, defund the police or Black Lives Matter or whatever the case may be, they will blacklist your page for a minute so that nobody can really see what content you're posting. Even your sexiest picture where you throwing that ass, right? It's not going to get any likes or whatever the case may be, because they will blacklist your page. And then after a month, you'll see them, yes, they'll shadow ban you. And then after a month or so, you'll see all the people that are following you are starting to see your content again. I was told by someone who works with Instagram that, yeah, girl, they'll do that to your page. And, all your followers will be wondering, when did she post that? And a month later, it'll start to be revealed on their timeline, this old ass post. And then they'll, that to me is ridiculous. But you won't see that really happen with the Not to Make It about Black and White, but it's Black History Month. So you really won't see that with all Lives Matter posts. You really won't see that with, the thin blue line. You won't see that with people who were, I always question folks who, yesterday I was watching a show. Now this is so random. Yesterday I was watching a show called Married at First Sight. And there's a particular person on there, and I watched that because I love. And there's a particular person on there, a white couple. I like when they, set the black couples up with the black couples. I love to see it, But there's a white couple on there, and one of the girls said that she was making an excuse, but she said, I didn't want to be with the guy. They still at the altar, child. I didn't want to be with the guy because of his politics. He's not the way that I liked him to look. She wasn't even cute. But she was like, and he's like a millionaire real estate agent. I just want to throw that out there, guys. If you want to go and see who I'm talking about, follow him on Instagram. Jump in his DMs because he deserves love. But the girl was saying, he said defund the police. And he's trying to make me look bad. But he's someone that said defund the police. Well, when the police go away, who's going to protect us? And I just wanted to know, where was she on January 6th? That's what I want to know.
To the Capitol.
But they allowed those pages and those people to be on national television, which she made herself look crazy on national television. But they allowed them to be on the Explore page, carrying those Confederate flags high in the sky. They allowed those people to have the front page or the suggestions on Facebook, on YouTube, on whatever the case may be. But our network here doesn't get that opportunity. The Benjamin Dixon Morning Show won't get that opportunity. They may be fifth in the list after watching something. Or if you've watched our show, what happens is in that thread, the next 3 stories are going to be like ABC, NBC, whatever, MSNBC,
Fox, stories, even Fox,
and it's going to be that. And that's what I don't like. And it's like, don't attach us with these people, or don't just try to get the people who are viewing these kind of stories to go over there. But the likeliness and the push will always be towards that content. Till this day, I can go on TikTok because I like TikTok. I like to scroll through TikTok. I get lost. I go through a black hole, a rabbit hole when I go on TikTok. Okay? But till this day, I can go onto TikTok and search for captions about black women. And it will not filter it out. But when I put captions about women, it's all white. All white.
There was a TikTok my wife sent me yesterday. I have to get it. But it was a sister speaking to this specifically. She was like, no matter what they do on TikTok specifically, and I think it's true about all the platforms, but I was just watching it last night. She was like, there's no way for black people to cut through the algorithm of TikTok the way TikTok takes black-centric content, wraps it in every other ethnicity, race, and takes it to the top of the algorithm. I don't care if it's a white person talking about racism, Black Lives Matter. That's going to be the first thing you see when you Google something or you search TikTok. You're going to see that white guy that we play on our show all the time. Good guy, love him. But it's like the algorithms are designed.
The white guy with the purple background, you talking about that handsome man? Listen.
Yeah, I like him, love him, but he showed get priority on that algorithm.
Every time I see him, though, it ain't like the black folks in the space ain't telling these stories either. The same exact way. Literally watching the content, talking about what they've just watched, showing you articles that match this. And I'm not knocking him. I love him, mean it. I like the style of his storytelling. I think it's nice and calm. And it's like you can digest it. I like that about him.
What's his name? Michael something. But yeah, I like him.
Fine. And he's fine. But that is crazy to me that because he went viral for that, like, I'm not saying there's nothing special about it. Like I said, he makes it digestible. There are others that have been doing this for a minute. The only thing is the skin they got.
It's the same. It's the same thing we talk about the music. And I was really thinking about this morning. I was thinking about this morning, Rebecca. Only people who should be making money off of black talent is black people. I'm tired of all the wealth that has been extracted from black folks from our talent, colonized and made palatable for the white masses, and then going viral and then make millions. Same thing in the music industry. We take it back a couple years, still happening in the music industry. You got all these black folks with all this black talent. Where's the black wealth? Well, it's gone, right? Because it was never concentrated. The ownership of our talent has never really been trusted into the hands of black people. And we ain't doing that no more. We got to change that.
And it's crazy because if you guys, did y'all watch the, now, you know, all that talking I was doing about Kanye yesterday, I still mean that. Just I'm put that right there. Right. But the Genius documentary on Netflix, which I have to cancel because they just charged me and they told me they're going to start charging me $19.99, and I don't like that. Child. But you had I had yours. Yeah, it's on my computer. But I got on my TV. I got somebody else's.
God, like they raised prices because of me. I got like 20 people who got my password.
I actually need your password for my television because I can't move forward with the $20. But I was watching the Genius documentary, and I was just looking at how, you know, I know I said, you know, I know we're not supposed to say this, but I miss the old Kanye. I miss the
Mr. Old Kanye.
Yeah, to push for black wealth and generational wealth and not giving it to white people just like that. Wanting to be up under black people, but create, when you get up under, you know, a place that might be owned by white people, see what you could take there and go create your own, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, that was his mindset. It was all about that. Like, you know, black, and then he even talked about how he wanted to not talk about, you know, the sex, the cars, the clothes type of thing. He was talking about that, and I remember that, Kanye. I really do. That was the one that found John Legend on the piano. But you know, but I say all that to say, even watching that, white people saw Kanye in that moment, just spiraling down like nobody's business, and profited off of that. You think that we profited off of that? No, we didn't. We started looking crazy from what he started doing and saying. Nicki Minaj talks about her, you know, her not having the whole facts of the story when it came to COVID-19 and her cousin with the testicles, right?
The swollen testicle incident. Yeah.
White folks on the right and stuff like that took that, and what they do, they just gathered around her and honed in. What they do with Candace Owens, you know, it really sucks. They don't the same thing. What they'll do is they will profit off of that. There's a certain network that I love. The people on there mean it, right? Those people literally roll over, turn on their camera, right? They literally roll over, turn on their camera, and make thousands of dollars for saying the same stories that we're saying right now. But they're black stories. It'd be like black stories. It's not being told by black people, but it's black stories, and because it's being told by white people, it just seems more right and more profitable.
The algorithm loves it.
The algorithm loves it, but me rolling out of bed from going to sleep at 2:00 in the morning from, you know, either working or doing whatever the case may be, rolling out of bed, dragging to the bathroom to get myself together just to come and sit here and have these conversations. It doesn't seem profitable. They think that that's the way our network should be. It should be just that even how we talk about things, our little show, our little this, our little that. When it's the same exact thing that they're doing over there, they just don't think that we're profitable. And if we are profitable, we'll have to change it up and probably have David on air and probably have David on air more often.
Yep. And you can only be so black. Let's talk about it, right? So it's not because of, Dr. Mack mentioned it earlier. If we go apples to apples, talent to talent, skill by skill, and we control for how much money they got and we ain't never had, I don't really think the world understands how talented black folks are, or rather maybe they do understand, and that's why they ain't letting us get none of this capital. But that's a whole conversation for another day. Because I guarantee you put us side by side with Joe Rogan, the difference in quality, not just in terms of our argumentation, but just in terms of fun and joy and production quality, they don't want to see us. But that opportunity is rarely afforded because that's exactly why they don't give us the opportunity, because they don't want to see black talent rise to where it should be. To take the NFL, they're only going to let us go so far, and that so far ain't about wealth. They'll let us get money. They're not going to let us get power.
And let's talk about the NFL.
So they think. You know.
Right. So in the NFL, a perfect example of when we're watching the Super Bowl halftime show, right? They didn't expect Eminem to be the one with the voice in the show, the one that is, having the acknowledging issues in the Black community by just kneeling. They didn't expect that to be Eminem, but because it was Eminem, it was more telling, right? You think Black folks don't get on there and really just constantly feel like we have to be put in the forefront to be talking about issues, whatever the case may be, especially when they're artists. I'm over here trying to do my artistry. Me being here already in itself, okay? Let me talk about that, all right? So it's like, but because Eminem did it, we all were like, white is, it just looks better in our eyes. We don't even know that we're conditioned in some way, shape, or form. We're being Black folks in America. We're conditioned in some way, shape, or form to really think that that's such a big deal. Not to say that it wasn't, not to say that it was, but it's just that's how we're conditioned. And it's like, hey, we were watching the damn halftime show to see our favorites do what the hell they got to do. If they wanted to mention some issues in the Black community, not to say that they haven't on their free time whatever the case may be, but in this particular moment, the fact that a Crip is wearing all blue, smoking weed at the Super Bowl, that's big enough for itself. You know what I'm saying? The fact that Mary was able to kick her boots in the air after being in this industry and being raped, not physically, but being like raped mentally, financially from this industry. You know what I'm saying? And able to do what she has to do today on that stage, that like decades. I'm talking about maybe like 3 decades of this thing. And this is Dr. Dre, who was able to bring California, West Side, all of that. That is cultural. That to us is a big deal. That to us speaks to us finally getting to a level where we can be here at the Super Bowl and do this. But the focus was Eminem kneeling. And like I say, it's not it wasn't a main big deal. It was not to say that it's not, or not to say that it is, but we are conditioned to really see white as being something amazing. I watch every day, and I get upset about this. Now, I don't mind. Me and my girlfriend have conversations about this all the time. I don't mind dating. I've dated outside of my race, right? I have. And I just realized I prefer Black, but I like white men. I think they're handsome. I think they're all of the above as well. David, you're handsome, but I think that I think that with the way that Black women even discuss, and I'll step into that territory because I'm a Black woman. I think that Black women who lead the conversation about Black men needing to do better or whatever on social media, the same way Black men do the same thing to Black women. But that conversation, and they're saying that's why you need to be more like white men. Who one woman said you need to be more like white men who build. Who like to build. This was a whole conversation, but I'm saying
I got to catch myself because I have a habit of nodding my head out of professionalism. Could you repeat what you just said, please?
But there's a girl who's very popular in the social media space who fights for Black women's rights and Black women being treated amazing. I'm not going to say her name because we're in the same friend groups, but she turns around, gets on social media and talks about how Black men should start being more like white men. And how white men, and this is all because one of her friends who were on one of those shows, like I was talking about earlier, the Married to at First Sight shows, went for a white man, right? And this is they never seen each other, and they ended up getting together and getting married. Went for a white man, and now she's saying, "Oh, he builds things for her. That's what Black men need to start doing." And I started thinking to myself, have you ever thought that maybe the men that we're picking regardless of color, white doesn't make it right all the time? You know what I'm saying? I need you to understand, man. Sometimes a man could be white or Black doing the same damn thing. White men cheat too. White man doing, understand, this is I hate the conversations that are being created, but for some reason in society or in social media logic, the fact that pictures of mixed people look better, me watching the Cheerios commercial, if I see another damn commercial, that's telling me about my heart rate and the white lady is coming out to go feed the Black man the Cheerios, is gonna piss me off.
Don't that commercial drive you crazy? Oh my God, I thought I was the only one.
Ooh.
Stop throwing that at us.
Did y'all see the NBA commercial though? There was an NBA commercial in the last playoffs where they were talking about, black men, as a black bird. And it was so insulting in the way it was written to make it seem like black men are the pets of society. Yeah, I'm with you, Rebecca. I got a little problem with that, but you continue because it's not territory for me right now.
And it's like, yeah, look, it'll be my territory all day. Because for me, I sit and I watch these things and I don't mind. Like I said, I love to see me a fine white man. I like to see it. And I like when they holler at me when I'm in the streets. It's so sweet. But at the same time, I'm like,
one tried to holler when we was at brunch that day. I remember.
Right? Look, I got that on video.
Oh my God.
And he was fine too. But but here's the way that he tried to holler, like, do you do drugs? Like, it was kind of like in that way. Remember, Bubba? I'm like,
yeah.
Wait. There's a difference. There's a difference. You can start a conversation with do you smoke. But if you start a conversation with do you do drugs, that's I might.
It wasn't really. It was just like, I was hanging out. My best friend is black. That happened. My best friend is black. And so.
That's Euphoria High School up there, child. You ain't know.
It is. But anyway, I'm saying all this to say, hey guys, it's okay to see black love on television because for a long time we didn't see that for such a long time. The fact that you feel like you have to inch it onto us by showing us mixed couples, we know that mixed couples are a thing. Like, I have mixed nephews, right? Like, we know this is a thing. We're not saying that it's wrong, but we like to see the representation of us. It's almost like when we say Black Lives Matter, you guys are trying to all lives matter this thing by showing us these mixed couples. It's not about that. We know that's a thing. We know that's in society. We don't have to inch it onto us. It's okay to watch black couples do their thing on television. Like, I don't know why it's like this whole thing that just in the month of February we get black commercials.
Hello.
After that,
the kente cloth. The kente
cloth is on everything. It's gonna be on my nails on Friday too because I'm getting my nails done. But listen, it's like we see kente cloth on everything. We seen kente cloth on Nancy Pelosi.
I knew she was gonna say that, James.
Couldn't even get it.
I knew. When I said kente cloth, I said give her 30 seconds. She about to.
If she didn't, I was gonna say something.
We seen it at Bath and Body Works.
They got the Kente scented candle.
we seen it. What does Kente smell like? Because they had it they had the Kente print on the watermelon one. Now we seen the Facebook dramatically change. And when I say dramatically, Facebook changed. It was not Facebook. It's American Airlines. Did some dramatic change by putting a circle of the Kente cloth print around their picture.
Oh, my.
See, this is what I'm talking about. And I feel like we should be able to celebrate. I know it's just a month because I go from all over the place. Black folks, when we're seated at the table, we can have these conversations. But when I'm walking outside, I'm going to be extra, extra, extra black. Not that I'm not that every single day. But I want you to see me being really black. Like, when they walk past my door, I know y'all can hear all the music that's playing. It might be in a different language, or it might be some Ratchet Future playing, or it might be some K. Michelle singing in country. Right, about like doing a threesome or something, but in a country way. It's like you might hear all of that in my home, but you're gonna know it's black as hell. And then I might go to some gospel music, or you might hear TD yelling, "Wake up! Wake up! Like, you might see that. You might hear that when you walk near my door. Like, you just don't know. It's really black. But I feel like this month, it's been a really rocky month for us.
It's ass.
It's been really tough. I didn't want to claim that. But it really, there was so much things happening that it's almost sideswiped Black history. We haven't really honored it. I haven't really seen too much honoring of, like we usually do, of Black greats. You know what I'm saying? So even on the show. So I think that we got to take time to continue to do that. I know that we have had Dr. Carl Mack doing his moment, which is great. I love that he is the voice of Google, and because that has been educating. But just honoring Black greats in the now and in the past. Sometimes this is the only month that we really do it, and I think this month we've been so like hit with so many other things, and having to protect our people. Amir Locke most recently, these are the things that are coming to us in this particular time that we don't get time to celebrate ourselves. We really don't get time to celebrate ourselves at all. We don't get time to grieve. We don't get time to mourn. We don't get time to do nothing. So if I talk about me wanting to see Black people on TV loving on each other.
It kind of reminds me of the very first video I ever did. On this YouTube here thing.
Get me out of here, Dwayne.
It was called Average Black Father. What happened? Let me pull the screen up. What happens? There you go. Anyway, the point is the reason I did that video is because I took my family out to dinner one day in Boston. I know it was like in New Hampshire, somewhere up there. And this white couple came by and said, "Oh, your kids are so well behaved." And I'm like, what did you expect? What is your preconceived notion as it pertains to how Black people behave, such that you interrupted my dinner to assert your excitement over the good behavior of my children?
They say that a lot to Black kids. They say that a lot to Black kids, that they are so well behaved. Yeah, they do.
How they supposed to be acting? They supposed to be acting like hoodlums, animals, little monkeys running around here? Is that what you feel?
Look,
little chitlins running around here.
I don't see Black kids on leashes.
Hello? That is the worst thing ever. You got your little ass kid on a little leash. You was walking your child like a damn dog.
Because all the Black folks got to do is this right here.
We ain't doing it. Exactly. We ain't doing it.
Hello.
That's it. Get over. You not going into the toy lane. You direct them, and then they get it together. Just hold on to that hair right there.
Boom. This way. You got your damn child on a leash, and then you make it look like a book bag, so you don't think it look like a leash.
I seen one with the leash and the matching glasses
on them too. What is that?
I seen one with the leash and the matching glasses. Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Well, we all got the same frustrations, seem like it. We all been living the same lives in this country. So
being Black is tough. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. I think that waking up in the morning, God did a beautiful thing. I couldn't imagine myself with no melanin. Jesus. And I really believe that he did a great job making all of us beautiful and Black, different backgrounds, being able to, just multifaceted, because Black is that as well. But at the same time, in America, and this is what I want. This is what I was having a conversation about yesterday on the show. At the same time, being Black in America is really tough. Us waving the flag, it brings back, you just get these emotions of tears and things like that, and stress, and what our ancestors went through. I wish that when we saw the flag, it was that imagery that I had when I was younger. But that was me looking at everything through rose-colored glasses. I had no knowledge, just what was taught to me in school. But when I stepped into one of the biggest critical race theory schools ever known to man, Florida A&M University, and was taught so much, and the scales fell from my eyes, and Saul became Paul, I knew at that moment that I can see now, and I can be somebody else, and I can actually love my Blackness and my heritage, me being Haitian, instead of what America really tried to make me think that, Haitians didn't matter in this country. Being Black and speaking another language was a terrible thing. I didn't like that.
Go back to your country.
And then your country. When your country, you're considered ignorant or ghetto or whatever the case may be. Yep. It's like when you have a country accent, and when you say what, like Ben does and Steve Harvey, what? When you say woman, they think that's problematic. You're supposed to talk and then when you talk when my Valley girl side, they'll say, wow, you talk really proper. My friend talks proper, and she got a country accent. I tell her all the time, I love your accent, and she talks proper. But she just has a Kentucky accent. Absolutely. My other friend, she's from what they call Belglade, right?
Oh,
she's from
the Muck.
Pahokee.
Yeah.
Muck City.
Pahokee.
She's from Pahokee,
That's the
yes.
Muck,
And I
guy.
grew up with her. That girl is very intelligent, like no one's business. She has 3 degrees as well. And she just has a really strong accent. There are words that she just can't say because she came from Haiti and went straight to Muck City. She has a really, really strong accent. People consider that to be ghetto. She is far from ghetto. One of the bougiest people I've ever met in my life. But that's how they consider it. But I will meet these backwoods white folks.
Well, look, Marjorie Taylor Greene. They running for office and winning.
What we call dirty foot. I hate to say it, but I saw her feet in them sandals. And they literally consider that to be, they really just, because it's white, it's just more bearable. It's more digestible. It's more understood. It's better. But if there was somebody black like that in there, they would be like, oh, it's just unbecoming.
Exactly.
I was on that show recently, The Rising. They didn't want to hear what I was saying that was very poignant and important. And I was hitting some key facts in a good tone, too. I didn't even give them, aggressive black woman, as they would say. All they were focused on in the comment section, most of the whites, were, aren't her nails really distracting? That's all they could say. But if a white woman came on with a line down her nails and a gold tip, it would be, wow, she's so, that's so cool. Like, she's the only one that could rock those.
Classy.
That's that. Because we are just, for some reason, no matter what arena, in America, no matter what area, black would just be the bottom of the totem pole. Black immigrants, black undocumented people are the bottom. Black people in America who have more heritage, who have more background, who have more ground to talk that in America are considered the lowest of the totem pole. It's just the way America literally has us viewing everything. And I think that's really problematic.
It is. Absolutely agree.
Agreed. Dwayne, go ahead.
I was about to say.
Nah, I'm gonna keep that to myself. It was just when you was talking about the dirty feet, something popped into my head.
Get us out of here. But something.
Nah,
there's something that always happens in the last 30 seconds of the show.
No, I want to know.
Right. So remember the trial of the men who murdered
yes, Ahmaud Arbery.
Right? So
that's what they said.
That's what they tried to bring in. Oh, his
dirty fingernails,
dirty feet, right?
Yeah.
And just like Rebecca said, there's quite a few pink toes that just be walking around with dirty feet, and it's weird that's an argument that they would try to bring in. To
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Sorry,
no, but
Marjorie.
My brain just
Taylor Greene defending. No, I want to give context. Right. Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about Hitler before the school board in Georgia. They're literally like it's anyway. We're already after 10:30, but I
no, but yeah, we already at 10:30. But I got time, 2 more minutes. I really think that before we leave, we really got to delve into that a little bit that you said, Dwayne. The fact that they did that. A man who is gone on, murdered at the hands of white people, when he was being talked about, in his passing, in his murder. In his death, they criminalized him by talking about dirty toenails or trying to say that he had dirty fingernails or whatever his features looked like. That was a threat. When we have people literally, but like I said, when it's on white folks, it's like white is right. Marjorie Taylor Greene in her dirty mouth talking about, and not even Lauren Boebert or whatever, who we thought that was a whole comedy show when she was discussing things and talking about people crazy. But because when it comes from what society has literally embedded within us, it's okay. When a white person is saying that a murdered black boy is a criminal because of how his toenails were dirty or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It just tells me everything I need to know about America. I don't think I will ever feel any kind of way about that flag. I just don't. I just really don't. I want to say I love America. I really do. I want to say I want to be able to say that because black culture here is beautiful. I'm going to say that. But we are the ones that continuously push that to the forefront and have to say daily that black culture is beautiful. Our black culture is this. Black is this. Because America itself doesn't do that for us but for a month. And even then, even then,
during that month.
Asterisks.
Yeah, I feel that.
And if you really think about it, during that month, it go through so much shit. Like, it's our month, but so much shit goes on during our month. It's really ridiculous. And I'm trying to think, like, when have we had, y'all really think about it, when did we have just the bestest, most perfectest, I'm making up words here, Black History Month? Right.
Never. I mean, yeah. But such is our plight in this country. It's going to turn around, though. I'll tell you that much.
And maybe if not in this generation, and I get scared every day. I told you I want me some big-headed kids. Yeah. I really do. And maybe those kids will be the one, but I'm scared to drop them off in this world. I'm scared to pop them out in this world full of crazy every single day.
I was about to say, you say you want big-headed kids till you got to push them out.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you guys will never know. You guys will never know. You guys will never know.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how it feels, but I could just imagine something with a big old head. You know what I mean? No.
With the head, especially I saw y'all heads. So shout out to y'all mamas. I love you guys so much. We're at the end of the show.
All right.
And
I was taken out.
I got something for you tomorrow.
I don't even know what I was done.
I know why you was taken out.
I think I paralyzed my mama, to be honest with you. All right,
why was I taken out, Rebecca? My hair was too big.
Whew.
That's Ben hair. Ben was probably the one that messed up a whole lot of stuff down there in Mama. Mama Ben,
I just told y'all I paralyzed my mama.
Soda.
Ben. I can't stand y'all. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining again this morning here on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Shout out to all our guests that came through, man. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We mean it. Your affirmation for today. I am proud of all the bad days I have survived. I am proud of all the bad days I have survived. Y'all gonna be great, man. I will see y'all on Tuesday. I'm not here tomorrow. Y'all have a great weekend. Love y'all, mean it. We'll see y'all Tuesday. Well, I'll see y'all Tuesday. They'll see y'all in the morning. Deuces, love y'all, mean it. Out.
OMW.